For years, country music star Toby Keith lived in the spotlight, but his wife, Tricia Covel, was always by his side, supporting him through the highs and lows of fame. Now, in a rare event following Keith's passing, Tricia is opening up for the first time about the untold truths and struggles that defined their relationship. Join us as we get into the details of all that she confessed about her husband, Toby Keith. The early tragedies of Toby Keith. Toby Keith Covel was born on July 8, 1961, in Clinton, Oklahoma, to his parents Carolyn Joan and Hubert K. Covel Jr. He is globally recognized as an American country music singer and songwriter. Aside from that, he has also made great contributions as a record producer, actor, and businessman. Growing up as a young child, his family lived in Fort Smith, Arkansas, for a few years when Keith was in grade school but moved to Moore, Oklahoma later on. Before the family relocated to Moore, he spent summers visiting his grandmother in Fort Smith. His grandmother ran Billy Garner's Supper Club in Fort Smith, where Keith developed an interest in the musicians who performed there. He took on various tasks at the Supper Club and began to join the band on stage to perform with them. He received his first guitar when he was 8 years old. As a child, Keith went to Southgate Elementary, Highland West Junior High, and Moore High School, where he was a defensive end on the football team. Following his graduation, he was employed in the oil fields. Fortunately, he climbed the ranks to achieve the position of supervisor. By the break of March 24, 2001, Keith's dad, H.K. Covel, sadly passed away shortly after a charter bus crashed into his vehicle on Interstate 35. This was a troubled period for Keith and the entire family. Well, due to the incident that led to his father's demise, the Covel family was awarded $2.8 million. Elias and Pedro Rodriguez, who were the operators of Rodriguez Transportes of Tulsa and the Republic Western Insurance Company, were found responsible due to faulty brakes. At the age of 20, Keith and his friends then decided to establish the Easy Money Band, performing at nearby bars and roadhouses while he kept working in the oil sector. Sometimes, he would need to leave in the middle of a concert if he was needed at work. By the break of 1982, a significant tragedy struck when the oil industry in Oklahoma began a rapid decline, and Keith soon found himself unemployed. In a bid to get back on his feet, he decided to fall back on his football training and tried out for the professional Oklahoma Outlaws. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it in. As an alternative, he joined its unofficial semi-pro farm club, the Oklahoma City Drillers. Luckily, he made it in, and during this time he played defensive end while continuing to perform with his band on the side. However, he still had a strong love for music, and though the success didn't seem like it was forthcoming, it was close by. When success rolled in. As time went on, Keith went to Nashville, Tennessee, where he tried to make something good out of it, but unfortunately, things didn't work out as planned. It wasn't long before something good came along. This time, a flight attendant who was a fan of Keith handed over his demo tape to producer Harold Shedd, who signed him with Mercury Records. In 1993, Keith successfully launched his debut album, which was self-titled, under Mercury Records. The song, Should Have Been a Cowboy, held the top position on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart for 2 weeks. Additional top 10 country tracks from the album are He Ain't Worth Missing, A Little Less Talk and a Lot More Action, and Wish I Didn't Know Now. The album received platinum certification after reaching 1 million sales. As time went on, bit by bit, he was able to find a place in the industry. By the time his other 2 albums, Boomtown, released in 1994, and Blue Moon, released in 1996, were out, they received platinum certification as well. By the break of 1999, Keith successfully returned with How Do You Like Me Now? The title song of the album topped the country music charts for 5 weeks. I Want to Talk About Me and My List from Keith's upcoming album Pull My Chain, released in 2001, also topped the country charts for 5 weeks. With Unleashed, released in 2002, Keith was able to secure his place. The album featured several chart-topping singles. Between the period of 2001 and 2013, Keith had something to drop each year, either an album or a compilation, with most of them each getting to the top position on Billboard's top album sales chart. Overall, Keith put out 19 studio albums, 2 Christmas albums, and 5 compilation albums, achieving global sales exceeding 40 million albums. He placed 61 singles on the Billboard Hot Country Songs charts, featuring 20 #1 hits and 22 more top 10 hits, along with 7 Grammy Award nominations. By the break of 2005, Keith founded the label Show Dog Nashville, which later became Show Dog Universal Music. Aside from his numerous achievements in music, he also contributed largely to acting. He made his acting debut in 2006, starring in the film Broken Bridges. He shared the screen with comedian Rodney Carrington in the 2008 movie Beer for My Horses, which drew inspiration from his song Beer for My Horses. While chasing success, Keith also chased love and family. His lifetime lover, Toby Keith's wife, Tricia Lucas, was born on July 13, 1962. Toby and Tricia met in 1981 at a bar where Toby was playing music. Tricia was immediately drawn to Toby's charisma and musical talent, and the two quickly formed a connection, although she was 19 and he was 20. At that time, she saw him as just one of those guys, full of confidence, charm, boldness, and a cute smile. During the period they met, Keith had just graduated from high school in 1979 and decided to take up the job as an oil field worker. It was also this same period when he went to play and sing at local bars with the Easy Money Band. At that time, Tricia was working as an oil company secretary, and somehow things went well between them, and they started dating. According to Tricia, several people tried advising her against dating him then. Some even made some comments like, "You need to go tell your old man to get a real job." Well, she was deeply in love with him, and most times she would just respond by saying to them, "He's good enough at music that I've got to let him try. And it'll be a great shot for both of us if he can make it work." Truly, she stayed, and eventually they got married on March 24, 1984. By the break of 2023, Keith himself celebrated their 39th wedding anniversary on social media, where he shared an old photo of them. Keith revealed that when the oil fields went bust, I started concentrating on my music, further mentioning, "I absolutely love performing and writing songs, but being at home with my wife, Tricia, and my 3 kids is the best feeling of all." Together, they had 2 biological children, although Keith adopted Tricia's first daughter, Tricia Covel Rowland, whom she gave birth to in 1980, before meeting Keith. As such, they have a total of 3 children: daughter Crystal, who was born in 1985, and son Stellan in 1997. Due to the stress and demands of taking care of the home and the children, Tricia became a housewife after having children. Toby Keith and Tricia Lucas shared a relationship rooted in love, trust, and unwavering support. From the moment they met in 1981, their connection was undeniable. Tricia saw beyond Toby's dreams of stardom and fell in love with the man he was, a man who was extremely ambitious, kind, and deeply loyal to his loved ones. Their bond only grew stronger through the years, defined by mutual respect and a deep commitment to one another. But with the sweet bond they shared came battles that left Tricia broken. Toby Keith's battles and Tricia's role. Finding a supportive partner can be difficult, especially when one is faced with tragedies. In the case of Toby Keith, Tricia played a significant role, serving not only as his wife, but also as his caregiver, friend, and greatest supporter. As Toby pursued his musical aspirations on the road, Tricia maintained stability at home, keeping their family united. She accepted the sacrifices associated with being married to a rising star, recognizing the extended tours, late nights, and the demands of fame. Regardless of the difficulties posed by distance, fame, and success, their love remained steadfast. Toby consistently emphasized to Tricia how crucial she was to his life. It was more like there was no interview with Keith without him mentioning and telling interviewers that his wife was the motivation behind his perseverance and success. But somehow, one significant aspect of Keith's life was that he never let his career overshadow his marriage. He was always making time to reconnect with his wife and children whenever he was home. Their marriage was able to succeed on an unbreakable sense of loyalty and love. Unlike many other marriages, Tricia never sought the spotlight, choosing instead to be the quiet force behind Toby's success. Toby frequently acknowledged Tricia for helping him stay grounded, reminding him of his identity beyond fame and music. One other thing was quite obvious. They trusted one another, depended on each other's resilience, and would always support themselves. Right from the start, she believed strongly in him, even during challenging periods, as he worked hard to make a name for himself in the music business. Well, unfortunately, tragedy came knocking when Toby was diagnosed with stomach cancer in 2021. Tricia remained supportive all through. She stood by his side with so much love and loyalty, taking on the role of his main caregiver, going for treatments with him, and providing comfort during his toughest times. It was totally obvious that Keith's wife was extremely supportive of his health struggles. Tricia fully displayed her affection and commitment to her husband, and she made it obvious that their bond was not solely about joyful moments, but was also about facing the toughest challenges with her husband as a team. Toby and Tricia, to this day, are considered one of the most influential couples in country music. They would have marked their 40th wedding anniversary before his passing. During that period, Keith described his wife, Tricia, as the best nurse, weeks before his passing, where he openly admired her for supporting him in every possible manner during his health challenges. He further stated that right from when the news of his diagnosis of stomach cancer was revealed in the fall of 2021, she had been there. However, he only let the news out in June 2022. One of the sweetest parts of Keith's statements was when he announced to them that Tricia had stepped right in and just took control. She took the major role in trying to motivate him at every step, and assuring him consistently that they are going to go through all of the struggles together. By the time Keith made a public appearance at the inaugural People's Choice Country Awards, where he was honored with the Country Icon Award, which was presented to him by Blake Shelton, he was also able to perform his first award show performance since 2017. And on this occasion, he performed "Don't Let the Old Man In." This particular performance left Tricia and everyone in attendance in tears. This final performance by Keith took place in Las Vegas. The American music icon, Toby Keith, passed away in his sleep in Oklahoma on February 5, 2024, at the age of 62. His passing came as a big loss to the entire music industry, his family, and fans globally. His wife's confession: he was those songs. Alongside John Anderson and James Burton, Toby Keith was honorably inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Since the late icon was not present, his wife Tricia Covel was present at the event to accept the honor on his behalf. Keith was recognized in the Modern Era Artist category. This recognition came as a way to honor him for his outstanding career. Toby's wife, Tricia, on the other hand, has remained silent ever since he passed on. But this time, she was ready to break the silence during his induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame. It was discovered that the family of Toby Keith only got to know days after his passing that Toby had been selected for the Hall of Fame, and most of the voting processes were already completed right before his passing, as Toby was never aware of the induction. Just before she accepted his Hall of Fame medallion, from Randy Owen of Alabama. Most of his fellow country stars sang a few of his songs, with the likes of Post Malone performing I'm Just Talking About Tonight, Eric Church doing his version of Don't Let the Old Man In, among many others. Following the iconic performances, it was time for Toby Keith's wife, Tricia. With eyes filled with pain and love, she stated, "Well, I guess you all have guessed, it's pretty emotional for me tonight, and this is the first time I've been able to talk," further mentioning, "I'm not sure if I can finish it, but I wanted to thank Randy for coming up and introducing Toby. I wanted to congratulate John and James on their induction. Congratulations. It's a big night for all of us. I wish Toby was here to be able to do it. It was something he was always looking forward to." Aside from that, she went on to talk further about how much Keith loved Owen and the rest of the Alabama group. Tricia also made comments about how much the process of songwriting meant to her husband as an artist. She said, "He did anything he wanted to do. As soon as he set his mind to it, he really worked hard, and once he made his mind up, he pretty much did anything he wanted to do. He considered himself a songwriter first and foremost, though. That was his passion. That was the biggest thing that meant the most to him, other than the family, obviously. But he considered himself a songwriter." She went further to talk a little more about this by further saying, "He wrote songs that were so compelling the people knew a man was living those words. You could see into that baritone voice. His heart and soul, his attitude, personality, and character shone through every lyric. He didn't just sing those songs, he was those songs." This particular statement was more like an emotional moment for all. Tricia also went on to talk about his last performance, where he performed Don't Let the Old Man In, just during the inaugural People's Choice Country Awards in 2023. She laid much emphasis on that particular performance, describing how everyone in attendance on that particular night had tears rolling down their cheeks. That event was no doubt proof that Toby Keith was the songs he wrote. His wife's confession, he loved the troops. That wasn't all. She went further to describe how a very large part of Toby Keith's career was filled with moments where he sang for the troops. As his wife, she was able to witness how much he loved performing for the troops, no matter how life-threatening it could be. She further stated, "The USO gave him their Spirit Award, recognizing individuals for their passion and dedication to the men and women in uniform. He loved the troops. He loved getting to go and be a part of that. He didn't get to serve, but his dad did. So in his mind, that was him giving back. He did hundreds of shows in the Middle East, often in the most dangerous of places. He wasn't going to play it safe. He never would tell me where he was going or what he was doing and that it was a security issue. So they just never would tell me until after he got back. He had been up in the plains, and they had been shooting at him, or he was performing down in a base, and they started taking fire at the base. So he had to go down to the bunkers. It was the thrill of that, and being able to say he was giving back. He loved the troops, and it was just one of those things that he was so passionate about. Over the years, there were so many moments throughout his life and career where Toby Keith was able to display just how loyal he was to those he loved. Tricia also shared how much Keith has always wanted to give back to humanity and his community. Together, they started the OK Kids Chorale. She stated that he might have been worried when he left that the OK Kids Choral would fail after he was gone, but the kids and I are working to be able to help carry that torch and do what we can do to help maintain that legacy that he started. While speaking, she also stated that she is so grateful and so thankful to have spent the time she spent with someone as true as him. She further mentioned, saying, "Toby loved hard and he lived big. He enjoyed everything he did. He had no regrets throughout his life. He made you feel like he was your best friend when he talked with you. There are people all over the world who Toby meant something to. We get letters. People walk up to me randomly. They've never met me before, and they'll walk up to me and shake my hand and say, 'I miss him every day.' I say, 'Me too.' Then we're both crying." Tricia, though she was speaking for the first time about her late husband after his passing, there was no doubt that she had so much to say about the music icon in that 16 minutes. One other aspect of Keith which she also talked about was the fact that he chose to live in his home state of Oklahoma rather than give in to the pressure to move to Nashville. In his words, she said, "There may be better singers, there may be better songwriters, but they'll never outwork me." One significant aspect of her husband's personality, which she also confessed to, is the fact that he worked so hard and wasn't ready to stop. While speaking, she said he had to work twice as hard. He didn't fit into the normal mainstream Nashville politics and the business. Hard work, toughness, and God-given talent. Toby didn't have to be branded as authentic. He was the example of authentic. Tricia, the children, and the entire music industry were left heartbroken, especially the fact that Toby Keith wasn't alive to accept such an award in person. But somehow, they can find peace, knowing that his spirit is being kept alive through his music and his fans globally who would continue to play his songs. Tricia also went further to appreciate the Country Music Hall of Fame for honoring Toby with the induction, saying, "He didn't get the chance to hear the news that he had been inducted, but I have a feeling, Toby, we know you are in the Country Music Hall of Fame." There's no doubt that Toby Keith has built a legacy that would endure the test of time, even though he is missed daily by his family, especially his wife, who also revealed some details about his legacy. His wife's confessions, his enduring legacy. Sometime in 2019, Tricia and Keith were honored by the University of Oklahoma College of Medicine Alumni Association as a result of how much they have donated to the Children's Hospital and the OK Kids Corral, a lodging facility that was opened in 2014 by the Toby Keith Foundation for families with children in treatment for cancer. It was revealed that the couple decided to start the Toby Keith Foundation in 2006 with the mission to help children and their families with cancer. Aside from standing by Toby, Tricia is also a philanthropist, and for both herself and Keith, children's cancer is a thing that is close to their hearts. One time, during an interview, she openly talked about how sometimes she gets goosebumps thinking about the OK Kids Corral, describing how the people are happy because they're not in a hospital room. Aside from this, Tricia also owns Swing Dish, a line of women's golf apparel founded in 2012. Before that time, her husband and his band and crew would always call her Trish the Dish. And just when she started playing golf, she felt very odd, especially when other people were around. Toby would most times say to her, "Just get up there and swing, Dish." By the time she was busy looking for a name, he was convinced and somehow suggested that particular name, Swing Dish. Keith's wife, Tricia, openly admitted to how much she and their kids are heartbroken by the loss of their father. Aside from that, she also expressed how they will always carry his unwavering kindness and passion in their hearts. Somehow it's quite obvious that aside from the pain they feel from the loss, his family also has peace of mind, knowing that there is a huge community of fans and fellow artists that will help them carry this weight of grief. Following Toby Keith's passing in February 2024, his children, Crystal Keith and Tricia Covel, have shared their grief and love for their father. They continue to honor his legacy in their ways. Crystal, a singer-songwriter like her father, finds comfort in his music as listening to his songs helps her cope with the pain of losing him. One time, she even performed "Don't Let the Old Man In" at the tribute concert Toby Keith, American icon, expressing that singing his songs is a way to grieve and celebrate his life. Tricia, on the other hand, is an entrepreneur and runs several businesses, including Sellout Crowd and 405 Burger Bar. He also shared a touching tribute on the first anniversary of his father's passing, posting a video of Toby performing "If I Was Jesus" with the caption, "A whole year without my hero. Love you, Dad." Despite their grief and pain, Shelley, Crystal, and Stellan honor Toby's memory through music, milestones, and heartfelt tributes, ensuring his legacy lives on. As a way to honor his legacy, just while she was still speaking for the whole 16 minutes, Tricia mentioned saying, "There'll never be another Toby Keith." The kids and our family and all of our friends, we're all brokenhearted that he's not here to be able to accept this. The grief is not something we can just let pass. It doesn't matter if you don't know him personally. He made you feel like you were his best friend when he talked with you. There are people all over the world that Toby meant something to. They feel the same emptiness of loss that we do. That wasn't all. She also went further to make more comments about how he touched so many lives with his songs, saying, "He sang the songs of their lives just like he did ours." They may not have ever met him, but they knew him through his music, through his songs. That's why you see so many artists performing his songs at their concerts. Doing the tributes has been overwhelming to me and my kids, and we're so grateful and so thankful for all of their efforts and the things that they've done to be able to help heal us as a family. There will be generations of people who continue to play Toby's songs, so even through our pain, we know that Toby's spirit is still alive. What are your thoughts about the iconic Toby Keith? Which of his songs remains your favorite? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more exciting stories about your favorite stars.